Roots run deep. Let's take a deep breath, friends, as we set the space for this Pisces full moon reading. Just jumping right in with our pumpkin spice candle, pumpkin, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Set the intention to receive the messages that are for your highest and greatest good. As I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the spirit guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Pleiadians. This is joy, incense, tea leaves, clove, vanilla, and spices. You want to grab yourself a little cup of something to relax. The subject of this reading, or the overarching theme for this reading, is the end of a tough cycle approaches. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. We're closing out a cycle. The 9/9 gateway happened right before the full moon. It's going to happen, it's not here yet. It's going to happen right before the full moon. 9/9, and then the full moon is on the 10th. So I like to do things slightly different today. I'm going to play with a little shamanic stuff. Get some of my favorite autumnal decks out. Just see what's being offered. It feels crinkly. Crinkly. I would say the energy around this Pisces full moon, crinkly is not the word. I had a friend who was also a mentor at one point. And she always used to say something like, I'm feeling, she would say, I can't do, she was a psychic by profession, and she would say sometimes like, I can't do readings right now because I'm feeling like crackly or whatever, like toasted and rough around the edges. And she felt like she wasn't a good conduit at that time because she was kind of a multitude of things, like burned out, just feeling like irritated with what was going on in her own personal space and personal spiritual journey. And so she would take a time out for a period of days because she's like, I can't even do readings right now. I'm going to have to reschedule the people that have scheduled with me because I just don't feel like I'm in the right space to do that. And that's kind of how this Pisces full moon is feeling to me before I even get any cards out on the table. I've gathered some of our favorite decks. They want me to go back and grab Shamans Drum. So I'm just walking between the studio and where I keep all my stuff. It's like one big studio. So like my studio, it's interesting too because I feel like things are expanding. So like my regular studio space has expanded now into 2 rooms. It's very interesting. So like it's getting bigger. They want me to draw from Shamans Drum first. So hold on, let's just got a variety of shamanic tools, and I want to play with that as well. So I brought out some of the feathers. These are I have feathers that I've found and they're divided up based on different locations that I've been in when I found them. These are called like the Texas feathers. So these are all the feathers that were found when I was living in Texas. Except for this, I don't know why. This is a little cutting off of a horse's mane. I don't know why it wants to be in this cup, but anyway, we're just going to take a deep breath together. Allow what energies need to come in. We're going to build off of what I've just talked about. So the fact that just the energy around you may be feeling a little crackly and crinkly, and you just may be feeling a little like toasted or irritated about your current circumstances. So we're going to get some messages about that. We're going to talk about expansion, because of the fact that they had me bring in this example of my space expanding out, and instead of having like one studio space, I have like this big large space now, even larger. Like it's 2 adjacent rooms, and my space is just like encompass both of them now. So let me just, and I feel like there's some ascension stuff going on right now. In terms of ascension, symptom's not a good word, but like ascension, yeah, like you might be feeling overly dehydrated or thirsty, and self-love and self-care might need to come into this. All right, so I'm going to close my eyes and just kind of let them give me the feather that wants to come out. Oh, great. Well, this is the feather. I don't even know what it is. All right. This is actually some sort of little pheasant bird, and usually I know what these are, but actually someone found this feather for me. So this feather was found on my journey from Texas to where I live at now, kind of like stepping into the unknown. It looks like a little, it's walking, and someone said, oh, I found these feathers for you. And I was like, okay. So I don't know what bird they came from. So there was a little bit of unknown involved. So it's like Pisces, and I just saw 6:54, 6 minutes 54 seconds on the counter, like a countdown energy, like a countdown timeline. Like you may not know exactly where you're headed, and there may be illusions surrounding you and things you can't see right now, where you're just having to trust with blind faith, which is a story we always tell at the end of October, of having blind faith in your journey. And I feel like this, after the Pisces full moon kind of culminates sometime this Saturday, I heard Molly McCord, I like to watch her astrology updates. She said this full moon, the energy of this full moon is going to last even longer than a typical full moon energy would last for whatever reason. And so there may be a lot of like post the culmination of the full moon, which happens depending on your time zone. I think it's really early, like Saturday morning. After that, you may start getting more direction about where you're going next, because the moon will start moving towards Aries at some point. Well, not moon start moving towards Aries, but Aries will be the next sign of the full moon. So it's like this time, this is many confirmations about this time of September, between September and October, is this weird like liminal space where you may not know exactly where you're headed. So let's build on that. I'm going to bring in Shamans Drum. This is my deck. Let's see what we have to say through the cards. See, Teepee, it is safe here. Come inside and rest a while. And I know this is a big theme. So it looks like this is the overarching theme of this lunation. And let me see, you know me and the camera angles. I want to just dial back slightly and then pull in on the cards a little bit. All right, so during this lunation, it appears like the main theme is kind of like just relax and know that you're being cared for, that everything is happening in your highest and greatest good. You may not have all the answers yet, but slowly after this full moon answers and clarity may start coming in for you, and you may start to feel like you have a little bit of a direction of a way forward. Now, I was listening to my teacher this morning, so Master Ko was talking, and he was talking about, you know, you can do all this work in the energy world to manifest something, but nothing is going to happen if you don't take action on those manifestations. So everything can be ripe and ready and flowing in the energy world, but if you don't do something in the physical world to manifest, then the manifestation sometimes, or the energy around it, can just be lost in the moment. I did notice that happen on my other channel, TLC for the Soul. If you're coming from there, thank you for joining me here on my TLC for the Soul family. But I wanted to do a series over there a couple weeks back. You know, I was guided to kind of do something around the father wound and do a little series on that. And I was like, well, we could do that on the channel. And it sounded really good. And then I sat with it for a little bit, and then I just kind of like didn't really do anything with it. I just felt like I had other things I wanted to do. And so the idea kind of faded away, because I was kind of like, how do I want to do this? And what's it going to be like? And how long? You know, I got all caught up in the mental part of it. So I didn't do anything. And then about a week later, one of my favorite, she's one of my favorite readers. I just like her energy. She has a daily channel. So she does readings every day, and she does many, many readings. And she's kind of, I guess she could be an inspiration. I was looking at, so it's Liz Harrison from Guided by Angels. She mainly does twin flame stuff, but she doesn't either. She doesn't. She's very diverse. She does a divine feminine reading every day, a divine masculine reading every day. She's like a powerhouse of manifestation. She has, I don't know how many readings she puts up on a daily basis. I think she does like 6 a day. Now, they're not super long. Like sometimes this channel, you know, I do one reading and it can be 45 minutes. Hers are like, you know, 10 minutes at the top. Some of the other ones are maybe 1 or 2 that are 20 minutes. But she started a mother wound, healing the mother wound series. Right about the time I let the father wound idea go, a few days later, I was listening to her, and she's like, I'm going to do a mother wound series here on the channel. And she just like jumped right into it and started doing it. And so we can second guess ourselves with overthinking and overanalyzing and procrastinating and not taking action on something that could be a really good idea and that others could benefit from. The other thing that inspired me about her is, you know, I look at my work and I'm like, I've self-published so many books, and I'm not trying to compare, but when I think about like, oh, maybe I've done enough card decks, you know, this will be my Loveland Autumn pack is coming out. So we have the spring pack, the summer pack, and now the autumn pack. And I was like, maybe I've done enough decks. You know, I've already published, I don't even know, I think this will be the 9th deck. And I'm like, maybe people are tired of the decks, you know, maybe it's just not a big deal anymore, even though I love doing them. And then I went to Liz's, she has a store on Make Playing Cards, and she's published 35 card decks. So I was like, okay, I'm just holding myself back with all of this, like, negative Nelly thinking, and you know, I get like caught up in the procrastination of like, maybe nobody really cares about these decks, and you know, maybe they're just fun for me, and then I kind of lose a little bit of momentum when I get too caught up in thinking about the outcomes. So I would say there's a lot of lessons learned with this. The end of a tough cycle approaches with this Pisces full moon. We only have one card on the table and already a bunch of messages. It's kind of like, don't second guess yourself. When you get an intuitive prompting, you know, follow it through as best you can. Now, granted, sometimes there's just so many coming through, you have to prioritize them. Like, I think I showed you guys once before, or on the other channel, I showed you that I have like, yeah, I've self-published, I think, I don't even know, 15 or 16 books. And I have like 15 or 16 books started that are half finished. And it's like, well, I can't work on it. Yeah, they're all great intuitive ideas. I can't work on all of them at once. But like my teacher, Master Co, says, if you don't schedule these things to occur, they're not going to happen. And I do say I am lacking in the scheduling thing. I'm kind of been more of like, you know, I'll get an intuitive prompting to like follow through on this. And it's like, well, I got the intuitive prompting to start the work, but if I don't create a plan, and I mean, it's so, what's the word? Like, not hypocritical, but it's, I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but I'm an IT project manager by profession. I spent 15 years, not my whole corporate career, but a good chunk of my corporate career doing project management work, which is all about scheduling and prioritizing and taking action on projects to get them done. And I guess I got so burned out on that I came out here and I'm just like, yeah, I'll get these done. But these things don't happen if I don't schedule them, if I don't hold myself accountable, because now I have my own business. And I'm kind of like the man, so to speak. I have to answer to myself. And so these are all like I wouldn't be giving you all these personal examples if they weren't messages for you as well. Right off the bat, we're talking about rest being the first card. The thing that follows right on this card about resting for a while is this whole diatribe I'm going on about taking action. So the Pisces full moon is like this respite you can have for the next, I don't know what it is, 3 or 4 days, or maybe 3 days following, you know, from whenever you watch this to the culmination of the moon on Saturday morning. And then probably a good 2-3 days afterwards, you'll be integrating all of the things that you learned, the energies that are coming through, and that you'll start getting intuitive promptings on what you want to do now moving forward with some fresh new energy coming in. But if you don't plan it out and schedule it, then 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. And I think about all the IT groups I managed over the years, you know, if we had an idea or something we wanted to work on, because we were given kind of like, we had other projects we could work on, like system optimization projects and things that were kind of at our discretion of things we could work on to better I managed teams that worked on the external facing websites for a major mutual fund company. And so we had the leeway to work on like system optimization projects because our mutual fund company like managed many different websites, not just one. I don't even know how many there were. There was many external facing websites and customer facing websites. But if we didn't pick a project that's a priority and set a date, then it just sat in a backlog somewhere. So I think like the message is, if you don't know how to plan and prioritize, then that's probably a good skill to take a look at. Some sort of, you can probably find many people on YouTube, many different ways of planning and prioritize projects, and just find one that speaks to you. I think I would say some ones that are very successful and easy to use are like the Kanban method. So Kanban, Kanban, like a Kanban board. We did, I'm getting so many chills. We did agile development, and so any type of like agile or lean development methods, like take a look at some of those. That's kind of maybe out of your comfort zone a little bit, but those are easy to do. And anybody, you don't have to be an IT project team to develop like a Kanban board. It's super simple and it's really fun. All right, so now it's time. I'm going to get out the Gill Tarot. Like we had a whole reading that really didn't even involve any cards. So we have the end. All right, it's all the cards are going to do now. I'm telling you, we're going to play with these, but all they're going to do now is confirm everything we just talked about. So this is like being the emperor of your own domain. And look at all the lower chakra colors in this card. I mean, he's standing, has he got one leg? Oh, weird. He's got like one leg on I don't know what that is, and one leg on top of the mountain. Oh, those are volcanoes. So those are volcanoes. It always looks very Mayan or something in a way. And he's got this little shield, is like a ram's head. I'm telling you, this is all about manifesting. All those lower chakra colors, like finding what you're passionate about, getting out of your comfort zone, fire energy, like so much fire energy, and this balanced staff of the black and white, like staying balanced in the getting the intuitive promptings, and then using your divine masculine energy to make these things happen. And the cape is purple, so you have to kind of also don't throw caution to the wind. Why would you guys say that? It's not throw caution to the wind. It's kind of like you have to release attachment to outcomes. Like you may be given an intuitive prompting and you'll sit with it for a little bit. We don't blindly follow every little intuitive prompting we get. Like suss it out for a minute, like test, feel it out. Like, is this feel fun to me? Does this feel like something that lights me up and makes me happy? Does this feel good? Does this feel like a project that, even if it took me out of my comfort zone slightly, like we'll go to the Kanban board example, or we could go to the scheduling example, because I think that you can get all caught up sometimes, like, okay, I need to finish, I'll just give a personal example, like I need to finish this book, and realistically, if I write like a chapter a day, I could finish a book in 30 days. I've already done this exercise before. I thought realistically, way back when I first started writing, I thought realistically I could, if I really pushed myself, it wasn't even really pushing myself, I could self-publish a book every 45 days. And I had a schedule where I had to just make sure I wrote one chapter every day. It's not that hard. I'm not even writing. I'm just channeling automatic writing what spirit and the spirit friends of the story are giving me. So it's not even that hard. And then I just have to proof it and put it in the manuscript. It's so easy. Why am I not doing this? I don't know. Get out of your comfort zone. So I may, as a personal example, I may need to try this little thing I just said, to get some of this work done, because there's no reason that I shouldn't have all 15 unfinished books published. That would be a year and a half worth of work. If I said every 45 days I'm going to do it, that'd be a year and a half's worth of work. I've got many card decks that aren't finished yet either. So this is not the first time we've talked about this. So I think those of you here kind of are in the same boat, so to speak, is shit doesn't happen unless it gets prioritized and scheduled. And no amount of waiting for spirit to deliver it to you on a golden platter is going to, them delivering it to you on a golden platter is them giving you, your guides, your higher self, whoever, giving you the intuitive prompting, the idea, the download, the project, the goal or whatever. They give that to you. And you can do the energy work, the manifesting work, the affirmations, the vision boards, or whatever to it. Now, I will say there's some exceptions to that. And I have just found that this kind of works for the little things that you're trying to manifest in your life. And things that are where you feel like they're within your control. So you want a new car, you want a new house. They're bigger things, right? They may not be able to happen within 30 to 45 days. Those may be bigger, longer projects. And so you may not be able to see the whole way forward there. You may be able to, because we hear about this all the time, like, well, create a 5-year plan and a 10-year plan. And it's like, what? I don't even know where I'm going to be like 2 months from now. What do you mean a 5 and a 10-year plan? I think there are some projects that you're given the go ahead, like time to start working on this manifestation, and you have to blindly trust in the fact that these things are going to manifest. So let's just give a house as an example, or wanting to move somewhere else. You get the intuitive prompting, which means it's in your vortex. If we bring in Abraham and Esther Hicks, this thing is in your vortex. It's meant for you. It's not some random idea. It's going, you feel like you've got this intuitive hit, like maybe it's time to move. And so you really like that idea. We're going through all the steps we just talked about. You kind of feel it out in your mind. You're like, yeah, I've been feeling this for a while now. I really want to do it. And then there's this gray area about the how and the when. Like, how am I going to do it? Like, moving could take a lot of money, and buying a house could be a big project. And what if I don't? Then you can go into the mental overthinking and overanalyzing. So for this example, the guidance would be to stop right there. You've got the idea that you want to move, you want to buy a house, a property, whatever. You may not even know exactly where yet, okay? So the guidance there then is feels good to you. So start the energy work around that. Start the manifestation of it through, visualization of what it might feel like to you, what type of climate you might want to live in. Maybe there are prerequisites, like you already have a job somewhere that you work at, and maybe you have to be within a certain radius of that job. So there are certain things that you can put on a vision board and that you can start thinking about. But you may not know the when and the how yet. And you may be guided to start like a savings account, or what is that called? Like a money jar, not a tip jar, like a rainy day jar kind of thing. You may be guided to start putting money away, but you still have no idea. Maybe you feel like it might happen in the next couple of years. And so you just throw that out there. And at some point you have to surrender the outcome to the universe to help you manifest this big thing. You may not have all the answers yet. Same thing with a relationship that you want to manifest. Those bigger things are this fine balance, just like this Emperor is doing in this card, this fine balance of you doing your part and letting the universe do its part. So these energies are coming through with this Pisces full moon, right? Not exactly, but right after it, you're going to feel this like wheel turn, this switch turn, so to speak. And you're going to start getting more guidance on how to move forward. This is the tarot at the end of the rainbow. It's this one right here. This is in the reverse. So I read reversals as like an exclamation point. So like not the opposite of what the card is, but as a big highlight of the reading, something to take note of. So we have the Nine of Cups. This is wish fulfillment. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is the whole end of the tough cycle approaches energy, this luck and good karma and blessings. This is all the keys that are being unlocked with this Pisces full moon and this 9-9 gateway. I'm just going to throw the 9-9 gateway in there too. Is this like feeling that some of the things that you've been, there even said longing for, because he just looks like he's so like, hey, my wishes are finally coming true. Like some of the things you've been longing and wishing for, you're going to have more clarity around, I'm going to even put that there. You're going to have more clarity around the way forward and what to do next. So you're going to rest a while leading up to the full moon. The full moon comes in, and then you're going to start getting all of this like guidance and wisdom and information about what to do next, whether it be a new idea that comes in and you've got to start the manifestation process kind of fresh on that one, the scheduling, the visualizations, the vision board, all of that. Or maybe it's a long-held idea or thing that you've been trying to manifest, and you're going to get a fresh perspective on how to move those forward. So if I go back to my book example, I probably am going to have to start something like a Kanban board. I'm going to have to put a big thing up on the wall, like a piece of big paper. I'm going to get this, I usually need sticky notes, like the 3x3, the square sticky notes. And I need to start like scheduling these things in. They're already like, yep. So this is my deck. This is Bubble. Speaking of decks, if you like any of the decks that are my decks that you see, I list all the decks. I try to list all the decks, or at least say their names. But if they're my decks, then they're all available online at the Game Crafter, and they're saying soon to be other places. So I'll probably be getting ideas of other places to to offer my decks through. We'll just put it like that since I haven't gotten that information yet. All right, let's see what Bubble Bubble has to say. So we've got 2 cards from Bubble Bubble. Oh, I've got a little creaky, squeaky floor going on here. I love it. So the first one we've got is Bereft. Nothing lasts forever. And it came out with Betrayed. You didn't see that coming. Now this energy feels like it's suddenly shifting because I've got 2 hearts. So let me just take a deep breath. There's bees here too. So I feel like they're saying it's enough said about the projects. There's some relationship stuff coming in here as well. Bees are a big, just bees are a big thing right now. They're a big sign right now having to do with relationships. And we've got a heart that kind of has a blindfold on, and we've got a heart with a missing puzzle piece. And so I feel like we haven't really touched on relationships a little bit. We touched on some more tangible examples about homes and projects. So the guys want to step in and say relationships are not forgotten. For those of you trying to manifest they're specifically saying romantic partner, then they have a few little messages they want to share about that. Which deck? All right, Shamans Drum. Now this is for, I think they're saying too, this is coming up for those of you who don't even realize that that's what you need right now. And I don't know what channel I was on, which one of my channels, since I have 3, where we had this conversation. It's kind of like you think you know what you need to kind of make your wishes come true. But sometimes you don't really know because you're second guessing the intuitive promptings that you're receiving. So let's just get a couple more cards from Shamans Drum. Powwow. Come together in celebration of your life. Join with others in a heartfelt dance. I want one more on that because I think it's kind of like things are, what I'm hearing is kind of like things are better together. So let's just get Bubble Bubble out again. Someone is looking out for you. So I think your guides here are the ones that are looking out for you. And you may start getting intuitive promptings at this full moon that are going to take you by surprise. And it's going to be something like, wow, I wish I had a special someone to share this life with me. And wouldn't it be so much easier if there were 2 of us together trying to accomplish our goals and our dreams and our aspirations? Wouldn't it make things so much easier if there were 2 of us sharing this life stream? And they just keep saying, wouldn't it be so much easier? Wouldn't it be so much easier if I had more help around my house? If I had someone to be emotional support for me when I need it? If I had someone to help me manifest that home of my dreams? Because if there's 2 of us, we're both on our spiritual path and journey. We're both living our highest timelines. Then wouldn't we have double the resources to get like an even better house? Like you're going to start getting these intuitive promptings of I'm worth so much. I'm seeing 33 on the timer. I'm worth so much more than this. And this goes back to my expansion example at the beginning of the reading where I said my studio expanded into a bigger space. And granted, it's still in my home, but my room got bigger. It went from like half of a big space in one room to like 2 rooms. And so there's expansion energy coming in that's supporting a community, like a divine partnership and a blended family kind of a thing going on where they just keep saying your motto should be, wouldn't it be so much easier and fun if the right person came along and we could do this thing together? So let me pull in. We've got a few more cards to draw before these messages finish. This is my own handmade deck, Labyrinth of Dragonshire. And let's just add to this message for all of my... The first thing we got is, why did you leave me? It's not over till it's over. Only the heart knows. And release control. I like this because I drew this little dragon guy and he's just like, ugh, because when I hear release control, it's just so hard. He's just like, ugh, I'm so tired, this little snake. This idea is going to come to you, this thing about this partnership. And I would say this is even for those of you that are coupled up with someone. It's not just a new partner. It's kind of like, your motto would be the same thing. Wouldn't it be easier if we, me and my existing person, could do X together, Y together? I think for those of you that are coupled up, you're gonna, yeah, I'm getting chills. You're gonna start getting intuitive promptings of dual soul mission work. Like your dual soul mission is kicking off now. So maybe previously you kind of were working on individual things, like your person may have had their own stuff, you may have had your own stuff, but now this dual soul mission thing is kicking in. Same thing for those of you where you're getting intuitive promptings of, wouldn't it be easier if I had somebody to help me with this? You've got a dual soul mission with another party, another divine counterpart that's going to start to kick off now. It's going to start to initiate like rocket boosters. And it's going to be hard to ignore the intuitive promptings of this, this other soul. But what can trip you up there is a lot of things, really. Fears about past relationships and past things that have gone wrong. Like, well, why do I want another one of these? I feel like I'm hearing somebody say, why do I want another one of these? It's just going to be another thing like I've already had before. And it's like, well, there's got to be some soul work done to release past fears and relationships and pain and hurt, and clearing the heart space of all these things where things didn't work out in the past. And then still deciding like that the overarching theme of, wouldn't this be so much easier and so much fun now, in this now, moving forward, all these ideas and all these things I want to do, if I had another person, my divine counterpart, to help me, for us to help each other. And it's bigger than that, because if you have a dual soul mission, this is something that's written into your soul contract. It's not just like la-di-da, some lackadaisical like soul comes along that you have no connection with, and you just suddenly like embark on a relationship together. This one is a dual soul mission where you created this contract and this mission before you incarnated, the both of you, the two souls. It's not your first rodeo together. You've known each other before in other lifetimes, and it's time for you to come together. And so that's why all these intuitive promptings are happening. And it is a process to clear the old debris away of the things that didn't work out in the past, but they were only catalysts to this connection anyway. So if you choose to look at them in any way at all, it would be like with gratitude for helping you become stronger and more powerful to be who you are now, and be ready for this divine partner to come in. And then when I say dual soul mission, I mean you could be working together on a, charitable project together, or it's going to be different for each one of you, and your mission is special to your your partnership. And so you'll get those details when the time is right of what that could all mean for you. And then the last thing you have to do to call this person in is to release back, all the way back to that Emperor card at the beginning, is to release control to the universe to let this happen when it needs to happen. When both parties have done the work that they need to do and have surrendered the outcomes, this is one of those that you can't really plot on a timeline. You cannot say, I want to have this person in my life by X date or this date or that date. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And so you have to release that control. Let me dig over here. I have a few little tiny runes that I created. This one wants to come out. This is the rune of, Odin and the ancestors. As some final messages for this reading, I would say the veil is always thin, but the veil is pretty thin right now. It's getting thinner as we head towards Samhain, head towards October. Ancestors are everywhere, kind of cheering you on and helping you get through this tough cycle, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do this work. It takes a lot of mental strength, physical prowess, and power, and a lot of emotional stability to be able to do the work that you're doing. And so your ancestors, your spirit guides are applauding you for all the work that you've done, for where you are at in this moment. Even if you feel crispy and crackly around the edges right now, like you just want to run inside the teepee and hide, know that it is only a moment, a blip in time. Take advantage of that this time then to rest and recoup your energy, because it looks like after this moon culminates on Saturday, come Sunday or Monday, you're going to hit the ground running with all these ideas. And you're going to need a way to plan and prioritize. So maybe while you're resting in your teepee, start looking at, like I said, just pick some examples of a Kanban board or Agile, or I forgot, like lean development, different ways to plan and prioritize all these projects that are coming along, so that you're not missing out. You're not that person who got the idea for a project like me and just kind of tossed it aside because I didn't prioritize it or plan it, and then someone else got the idea and kind of ran with it. So the guides are saying that that is all they want to share with you about this Pisces full moon. The tough cycle is ending. All this clarity is going to start coming in, and you are going to be setting yourself up for success if you can follow some of the tips, pointers, and guidance that were given as part of this reading. So on behalf of myself and all of your guides and my guides that were present here for these messages on your behalf, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you all again soon. Take care.
I get paid to sing a love song. I get paid to make you smile. When I see you sitting softly, I wanna rest for a while.